Hello. So welcome to today's lecture is about C programming of 8051 microcontroller. So we'll see how we can do C programming of 8051 microcontroller. So the most important thing in learning C programming of microcontroller is data types, and then the other important thing is time delay, because whenever you make any project or whenever you do any application of 8051, this time delay concept will be very important. So data types and time delay in 8051, this we'll see in 8051 C programming. So C data types, why C data types are important? Because the file produced by the C compiler, the hex file produced by C compiler is very large as compared to when you do coding in assembly language. So the thing is, like, when you write your C program, so you write hash include, and then you write void main, and then you do your programming. So this whole code is given to your compiler, and then compiler convert this whole code to assembly language, or you can say hex file. So every instruction of assembly language will have a corresponding hex code, so that's called hex file. So your C program is converted to hex file through compiler, through some set of rules of your compiler. So that hex file is very large as compared to you do programming in assembly. So that's why these data types becomes very important for C. So to read these data types is very important, because you have very limited space in the ROM of microcontroller. Especially in 8051, you only have 64 kilobytes of memory of ROM available and 128 bytes of RAM available. So the memory becomes very important part. So that's why the size become very important part. So that's why knowledge of data type is very important to do efficient programming. So now we'll see what is the most important data type in C. So there are a lot of data types in C, but the most important data type is unsigned character. So to do efficient programming in C, this is the most important data type, which is called unsigned character. So basically, this unsigned character is a 8-bit data type. So this is a 8-bit data type, and it can take values in the range of 0 to 255. So because of 8-bit, its range is from 0 to 255. So it can take any values in decimal from 0 to 255, because 8-bit representation is available. If we talk about in hexadecimal, so 00H, this is an 8-bit number, because 4-bit binary will be used for this and 4-bit binary will be used for this. So this is the 8-bit number. So the range in hexadecimal will start from 00H and it will go till FFH. So for unsigned character, the range in hexadecimal is 00H till FFH. In decimal, it is from 0 to 255, and it is an 8-bit Or in binary you can say the range is from 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0, so this 8 0 and 8 1. So this is the range in binary for unsigned character, right? So this is the most important data type because this is most widely used. This is most widely used. Most widely used data type in 8051. And there is one more thing. If you will not write unsigned in front of char, if you will not write unsigned in front of char, by default compiler will take it as signed char. And remember, signed char have only 7 bits to represent any number. 1 bit is for sign. So then the range will not remain this. So always remember, you have to write unsigned in front of char. If you don't write anything, then by default compiler will take it as signed char, and then this range will change. So this is the main important thing to understand how to do programming in C. So now we'll see how to make programs. So let's say we have a question of write an 8051C program to toggle all bits of P1 continuous. So if you want to do this type of program, we'll see this type of tough program in a bit. First we'll see much more simpler program depending on the topic just covered by us, the unsigned character. So let's say if we take much more simpler or general program of write an 8051 C program to send values 00 to FF to port E1. So let's say first consider this program. So let's say we have to write a program to send values 00 to FF to port 1. So before writing the program, first you should know the pin diagram of 8051, because when you don't know the pin diagram of 8051, what happens is whatever I will write here in terms of instruction or program, you will not understand it. So first go through the pin diagram. So if you know the pin diagram, then it's okay, but I'll give a bit brief, not take much time, but give a brief about the pin diagram. So what happens is, whenever you see an IC, there will be a mark like this on the top. So let's say this is 8051 IC. So this is a 40 pin IC. So 40 pin means 20 pin will be on this side, $20 pin will be on this side, and 20 pin will be on this side. So this is the pin diagram. So how will you do the counting for this pin diagram is, so this is the mark, so this will become pin number 1. This first one is pin number 1, then pin number 2, then pin number 3, and so on. So this will become your pin number 20. This last one will become pin number 20, and then this one will be pin number 21, 22, 23, so on. This will be pin number 40. So generally in IC, we always connect this pin and this pin. So we generally connect this pin to voltage and this pin to ground in general. And so you have other pins available now. So these two pins, pin number 19 and 18, will be connected to oscillator. So these pins will be connected to oscillator, pin number 19 and 18 and 19. So now you have 4 ports here. So ports means where you will connect your input output devices. So these are called 4 ports. So input output devices you have to connect on these pins now. You will not be given any extra connections in the 8051. You have to connect your devices to these pins. So what happens for 4 ports input output devices, each port is given 8 pin. So that means you will use 32 pins for 4 ports, or you require 32 pins for 4 ports. So how your 4 ports is divided is these 8 pins is for port 0, and then these 8 pins is for port 1, right? And then you leave 3 pins here, and then these pins is for port 2, and then you leave few pins here, and these is for port 3. So this type of system is given in 8051, and this is fixed. You cannot change it. So what happens is, when you do the numbering of this ports pin, how will you do the numbering of port pin? You know that you have 8 pins on each port. So let's say our program says write an 8051C program to send values 00 to FF to port 1. So if you don't know this diagram, you will not be able to do the programming of this question. So now when you do numbering of your port, how will you do this first pin of port 1, let's say? So you give it number P1.0. Okay? So second pin of your port 1, you give numbering P1.1. Similarly, you will give numbering P1.2. Similarly, you give numbering P1.3, and so on, right? You keep on going. So this is pin number 1, pin number 2, pin number 3, pin number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this last pin will have numbering P1.7. Okay? So similarly, so if I'll make one more diagram here. So similarly, what you are doing is you are numbering your port 1. So if these are your port 1 pins, so you number them like P1.0, P1.1, P1.2, P1.3, P1.4, P1.5, P1.6 and P1.7. So this is how you will number your ports. Okay? And if you have the 0 port on this side, so you will number them as, because it will start from bottom, so you will number them as P1.0, P1.1, P1.2, P1.3, and so on. The last pin will be P0.1, P0. Because this is the 0 port, so the name will be P0.0, P0.1, P0.2, P0.3, and the last one will be P0.7. So that's how you number your port. Similarly, when you have port 2, so you will number your port 2 as P2.0, P2.1, P2.3, and so on, P2.7. For 3, you know that P3.0 till P3.7. This is how you will number your ports, and this is how you will connect your devices to these ports and these pins. Obviously, when you have limited pins, so this port 1 and port 0 have other functions also. You connect your external memory on these 2 ports. So they have dual functionality, these pins. So apart from input-output devices, they are used for connection to external memory as well. So now let's start our program. So now you know the numbering, how you do the numbering. So how will you program your microcontroller? So first you will write #include . So the first line you will always write to program in C as #include reg.51. This is a register, or this is a file where all the information about the 8051 is stored, already stored, like the port numbering, the external RAM, the special function registers and everything. Because if you write P1.0 or P1.1, your normal C program will not understand what is P1.1. But when you use this registry, so this has, or this library reg.51, this library has all the definitions of your microcontroller 8051. So always use reg.51 to program your 8051 in C. Okay. Then you use your void main function. So generally, this is not returning any value. So your main function is not returning any value. So your main function is not returning any value. So you will write void here. Okay. Now you define your unsigned character, which I told you. So you define your unsigned character. Please be aware of the case sensitive C program, because use them in lower case, because they are not used in higher case. So in board I am using it. For compiler you have to use them in lower case, otherwise you will get error. So unsigned character you have defined as Z. Now apply your for loop. So for Z is equal to 0, Z is less than equal to 255, and Z plus plus, and give your port 1 as Z, and then close. So that's your program. How will you send values 00 to FFH to your port 1? So these are the values in hexadecimal, and you know that these values means 0 to 255 in decimal. So you have given the values 0 to 255 to your unsigned character Z, and then you have passed this Z to port 1. So P1, basically it will take the binary value, 8-bit binary value, because you know that Z is for 8-bit. Unsigned character means it will take 8-bit binary. So whatever values it is giving, corresponding 8-bit binary values will be taken for Z, and then P1 will get values of Z. So if you want to understand what will happen, so you know that you will have values from P10 till P17, and then in the starting the pins will take values of 000 0 0 0 0, and in the next, when Z will become 1, the values will be 0 0 0 0 0 0 1, and then 1 0, then double 1, and so on. The values will keep on changing according to the for loop, and then your port 1 will keep on changing its value. The pin of port 1 will keep on changing its value. So that's how you do programming. So now we'll see one more program of C. So the question is, write an 8051 C program to send hex values for ASCII characters of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and D to port 1, or you can also say P1. So this is you have to do. So as I told you, you just start your program by #include reg.51. So that's how you start your program, and then you write void main, right? So because it is returning a void value, so you will write void here. So you'll write void here, and then you start your program, and then you define your unsigned character. So because you have a series of ASCII characters, so you give this series to an array called mynum. So this is the array called mynum, and it is defined as unsigned character. Now it has the value of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D. So all these characters I have supplied to this array. Always check the syntax also, because I am writing on the board. When you write this program on the editor and then you compile it, you can have syntax errors if you don't write it correctly. So now you define one more parameter Z as unsigned character. Pass that parameter for defining the values. Now you have a for loop and then you will give this value to your port 1 as this, right? So what was the question? So 8051C program to send hex values for ASCII characters to port 1. So let's say the hex values of all these characters are, right, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for the numerical values, let's say the hex values are, for 0, let's say the hex value is 30H. For 1, the hex value will be 31, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the hex value will be 32, 33, 34, 35. So these are the hex values for these characters. And then for ABCD, the hex values will be values will be 41, 42, 43 and 44. So this is the hex value for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the hex value for A, B, C, D, and your program is saying give these hex values of characters to port 1. So they are in this sequence. So we have given this sequence to the array. Then this will become the 0th element of the array. This will first element of the array, and so on. So this will become, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 element of array. So that's why this will become the 10th element of the array. So now we will keep on passing the values to the port 1, like my num 0. So on 0 it will take the hex value of 0, which will be 30h. And the next time it will take the value of 1, which is 31. Next time it will take the value of 2, which is 32, and so on. It will keep on going. It will keep on going till D, right? So D, it will take the value of 44h, and then it will come out of the loop. So this is how your port will get different values for different ASCII characters. So this is program. So then you have some other data types as well, which I will write here, and then we'll see the programming for those data types in next class, not in this class. You have other data types as well, as signed character, then you have unsigned integer, then you have signed integer, then you have single bit called S bit, it's called single bit, and then you have bit and SFR. So these are other data types which you use in case of your C programming for microcontrollers. So we'll see these data types later on, and right now we want to say that wherever you are defining your data type in int, so please check out the size of the data type, because you know that the memory problem is here. So if you use int instead of unsigned character, so instead of unsigned character, if you use int data type, then you will definitely have a larger hex file in this case. So please avoid. If it is a requirement, then you can use int, but if it is not a requirement, then please use unsigned characters, as this will take less memory than your int data type. So that's it for this class, and we'll see you in the next class. Thank you.